Hey guys, today on CJ Off-Road, we're going to be installing a 3.5-inch rough country suspension lift kit onto our two-door JK Wrangler. Now this kit will fit all 07 through 18 two-door Wranglers, and there's also a four-door kit available. It includes brand new coil springs, their N3 shocks, as well as all the brackets necessary to get this thing lifted up in the air and looking a lot better than factory. So let's throw it on our 2012 and see how it looks. Okay guys, so we've got our Jeep on the lift, tires are removed. First thing we're going to pull off are our sway bar links. The fronts are not going to be reused. I sprayed it off with some penetrating lubricant to make it a little bit easier. Some surface rust underneath this, so we'll pull those off, loosen up the track bar, get the shocks and everything else pulled off in the front, show you guys how to get it done. Okay, we're going to use an 18mm socket as well as a wrench to get this off. Make sure you maintain the hardware. You're going to reuse it when you put a sway bar link back on in the front. Now remove your shock bolts using an 18 wrench and an 18 socket. With both lower shock bolts removed, we're now going to pull off the lower mount right here of the track bar. Make sure you remove both of the 10mm bolts that hold on the brake lines. It's going to give you some more slack and let the front end droop. We've lowered the Jeep down. Now we're going to remove a 15mm nut right on top of the shocks here so we can get those pulled out. Brendan's going to help me and take out the springs a while it's drooped out. Now it's time to install these brand new Rough Country N3 shocks. They're going to be a huge improvement over factory. Super excited to see how these do. Now we're going to put these extended bump stops in here. That way, because we have some more flex, we don't want to end up bounding these things up inside their own fender. So we're going to start with a pilot hole once this is centered. Just made the mark like that, pull it off, and we'll get it drilled out to 3/8 inch. We're just going to put the bump stop hardware in here. I'm going to try and see if I can actually put it up from the bottom to the top. Maybe that'll work. Probably not though. So it's going to make me struggle. Now we're going to put the spring on. Just like that. We're going to remove the steering stabilizer bolt right here in order to put on the relocation bracket. Grab yourself an 18mm socket and just pull this side off. Now we're going to loosen this so we can rotate it and get it up and out of the way when you go off-road. Just got to loosen it up. As you can see, it'll freely rotate. Now we're going to relocate the track bar using the provided track bar bracket. Set it into place. Now we're going to grab the U-bolt and come from the rear end of the axle up towards the front, towards you. And these are each going to get a washer and a nut. We're going to set this crush sleeve inside the factory track bar location. Do a little bit of adjustment with another bolt we have laying around. And we're going to put a washer and a large lock nut on the back here. Since we're going to use a factory steering stabilizer, we're going to bolt this on top of here so we can utilize it. We're going to tighten these down here, and then we're also going to drill a 3/8 hole up top so we can get one more bolt up there to get some more strength and security. Now we're going to put on the brake line extension brackets, which are included. gonna get this one on first here, and then we're gonna pull this down so it lines up down here. Install the included hardware through the backside, and put a washer and a lock nut up front. And get that tightened down, some 10mm sockets and ratchets. Sometimes it requires a sort of special touch. Make sure these lower shock bolts are also tightened up using an 18mm ratchet wrench or a regular wrench.
Whatever you like to choose.
Yeah, whatever your
Preference.
yeah. Now it's time to remove the lower control arms. We're going to use a 21mm socket and a wrench. Now let's put in these brand new Rough Country lower control arms. Once you have the lower bolt in, torque them both down to spec. Okay guys, once you have the front completely buttoned up, we're gonna move on to the rear. It's pretty much the exact same process. We've got some shocks to remove, sway bar links, and then your track bar. Basically, we're gonna be replacing everything. You get new sway bar links, new shocks, and new springs, then a track bar relocation bracket. So we're just gonna kind of run through this here. It's a pretty easy process. Basically repeat everything you did up front. You're gonna use most of the same tools. Now we're gonna release the brake line bracket to get some tension off of this line when it's up in the air. We'll put a new bracket that relocates it on in a little bit. We're gonna pull off this bolt here on the lower end of the track bar, use a 21mm socket. Once you have enough droop, remove your springs. Make sure to keep the isolators up top. You're gonna be reusing them. We're gonna pull these sway bars off. These are gonna be reused up front, so make sure you save all the hardware for them. Set these core relocation brackets into place, right like this. It's gonna keep them nice and straight. Then we're gonna put our springs up into place. Make sure to reutilize the isolator. Okay, good. Now we're gonna install our brand new N3 shocks in the rear as well. Trick is to leave one bolt up there, kind of halfway started. That way you can get the teeth of the fork up in there too. Get the other one started. Okay, next thing we're gonna do is relocate the track bar. Gotta get it up, so it's gonna slide over this bracket and just utilize some new bolts that it comes with. Crush sleeve goes up in between, and then you're gonna use the included hardware to go through it. Washer and lock nut on the backside. Now we're gonna get the included sway bars installed on both sides. You do have to press in the bushing, so once you get that done, go ahead and install them using the included hardware. Now install the bump stop extensions. These are gonna go on like this using the included gold grade 8 hardware and a lock nut right there on the bottom. Now tighten down the sway bar bolts. Pick your track bar up and mount it into the relocation bracket. Go around and make sure that everything is tightened to the torque specs that Rough Country includes, and then your install is complete. Check it out, guys. We just wrapped up the 3.5-inch lift on our 2-door JK Wrangler. We've got this thing flexed out on the lift right now, and obviously it was a huge improvement over the factory suspension. That stuff's been on there for 7 years, so it was really nice to ditch that, get rid of it, and really improve it with a brand new Rough Country kit. Overall, the install time for this is probably about 2 to 3 hours. You can do it with basic hand tools, as well as a lift or a jack and jack stands. You only got to drill a couple holes. All the brackets and hardware that you need are right included with the kit, so you don't have to go out and source anything else when you do this. Like I said, it's available for your 2-door as well as a 4-door Jeep Wrangler. Rough Country also makes higher lift kits as well as some smaller, more economical lift kits for both the JK and the JL Wrangler. If you want to check out any of those, be sure to check us out at cjponyparts.com.